Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcorian Guides, making my guide for Bayonetta on hard difficulty. Today we're doing chapter 15, A Tower to Truth. This is going to be probably one of the much longer levels. I'm not sure if this is like the longest one I've done on this channel yet or not, but I know this one's definitely like longer than my average. So it's a little bit longer than 20 minutes. Now the first thing that we have to deal with here is a couple of the dog enemies, and I think you kill one, I think they spawn more, because this level is more of a gauntlet type level, even though it doesn't really feel like it is. It is in a way. Excuse me, sorry. It is in a way because you have to fight multiple enemies multiple times. I guess it's only just two then, okay. So, one trick I want to go ahead and point out, if you use the sword, or any preferred weapon that you wanted, that works with charge attacks, if you can jump in the air and get a... Okay, basically, you see the wall right there? If you jump on that wall and then you jump up one more time, get that, triple jump, well, or whatever you want to call it, the double jump, triple jump, same thing, pretty much. You jump on the wall, then you jump off it. If you get really high in the air, the dogs won't be able to reach you. And then you can do a charge attack with the triangle attack, and then you can slam on the ground. So if you ever needed to use that as a defensive maneuver or just anything like that, then you totally can. So, just a pro tip, no, when they say pro tip, more of just a little tip from your old dear, Korean over here. So, that's up to you guys. Again, everything I do here, you don't have to do either. It's just, I'm here to help those that would need help or just would, or having troubles with certain spots, which, I mean, we all get those little tight spots. So now we gotta fight these winged enemies. These winged orb enemies, I don't know what their names are. I need to figure that out. Just one quick charge shot with that would be enough to take them out. And thing is, with the guys that are on fire, if you actually charge up your sword, you can still hit them, even though you don't take damage from it. It's really nice. So, of course, you fight them as you do any other time. And one thing I would recommend doing is after you break off their armor, they get pissed off again, and they kind of just stay... They don't really stay stunned, but they just don't attack you for a little while. During that time, go ahead and just try to charge up your sword attack, and then just lay into them. And if you do that, I think you can pretty much like stun lock and like combo lock them, because eventually they just won't keep attacking you. Like you can pretty much see here... Well, actually, no, he attacked then. But there was a second there before he attacked where he wasn't even attacking at all. He was, enraging himself again for some strange reason. I don't know why they do that for. It's just a thing that they do, and it's a pretty good way to kind of just, get them locked up. And it kind of helps out a little bit. So, typically, these statues do end up breaking enemies. At least that's what we've seen from, like, the first part. But this area here, they do not. Those guys do not spawn, my bad. I think it's, like, the second floor, that's when they start to spawn, or, like, the next floor up. And this is where we have to fight more enemies again. And I think there's going to probably spawn a couple more of these guys. If not, it's just this one then. I think each floor... Okay, there's another one, so yeah. Almost every floor that you go up to, or at least... one. Okay, well, not really every floor, but... What would you call it? Every area you go into, you have to basically go through the same kind of layout like this. I think you have to do it like 2 or 3 times. So this is the first time we have to do it, and then I think we do it again for we do it again for sure. I know that. I think it's like a 3rd time. So anyway, these guys, you guys should pretty much know how to take these guys out. They're really stupid easy to take out. I'm just getting hit because I'm retarded. That's all. These guys are really nothing, honestly. You can pretty much... Well, oh, also, fun little fact with this. If the mini-boss here, if he actually kills you, and or if you have no health, and he grabs you, you will not take damage from it. Even with the grab itself, you do not take damage. I think I've mentioned that before in a previous video. I don't remember for sure. But I know for a fact that if he does grab you, he can't kill you with that. As far as I'm concerned, he's not done it yet. I mean, granted, I guess if he gets away with it, like if you keep, swinging around the button and try to break out of it, he won't be able to kill you. But I'm sure if you stay there long enough, you probably do some damage. So, just little key tip. so that you guys don't have to be so afraid of, like, you know, getting underneath them. I mean, you probably shouldn't take damage anyway. You really shouldn't try to take damage, but if you were ever, you know, worried about fighting them, and you were like, you know, Alex, fighting them from underneath is a little bit easier and a little bit more safer for me, then yeah, you can go ahead and do that. So anyway, now we're going to fight these assholes, and I don't know if I do it in this one or not, or in this particular, like, video, but like I've mentioned before, if you do actually, like, jump on the wall, there should be enough room for you to get high enough, that way they can't actually attack you. And again, if you could try to bait out the fire one to do the spinning attack, you can come right back down on top of him and just get like a small little bit of damage on him, but it's just enough to get by. It's just enough damage to pretty much just, you know, keep mashing it. Or at least just keep spamming it to where he finally just fucking dies off. Or at least try to build your magic level with it. Even though it's not really the best at building magic, though. The best way to pretty much build magic on these guys is to just keep dodging their attacks. I mean, of course you can also taunt them too, but you have to get far enough. It's funny, like, for like the longest time, I never really knew how to taunt. It's just L1. At least on the PlayStation 3 version I have. Like, the default setting for it is L1. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, of all the buttons I thought I pressed, and that's the one that I missed. Like, I kept thinking it was, like, on the D-pad. No, it's just L1. Like a random-ass fucking button. That's used really commonly, especially with hack and slash games. And for this one, they don't use it at all, so I find that funny. They usually, most games use it for, like, block buttons and stuff. So anyway, this I think might have been a complete accident, or a complete, like, small retard moment where I was like, hey, I'll just go ahead and torture attack that guy and get the torture attack, you know, extra money for it, I guess. So I think if you kill enemies while they're torture attack, you might get more money out of it. I'm not sure. I feel like you do, but I'm not 100% positive. Also, those chick angels, their names are Joy. And now that I finally locked that in my head, I can start calling them that from now on. So I'll call them the proper names from now on, instead of just bitches and hookers and stuff like that. So it makes more sense. I just couldn't think of a name for them. I call these guys fucking fags, you know. I mean, I don't really care. These guys are just complete assholes. Just claw dudes. What do you want to call them? I don't really have... If I don't have a name for it, I'm going to make up a damn nickname. And I don't care if it's PC or not. So anyway, this next room you have to fight with Joys. I recommend killing the fire guy for last. That way you can hopefully get him to drop his weapon. I'm not ever sure if it actually is like completely 100% that they will drop it. But I feel like if you actually kill them last, they tend to drop it more often. So anyway, you come into this room with the Joys. If you have any of the claws, go ahead and just waste them out with the circle attack. Again, like I said, I recommend at least using the fire one. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit safe. It's not like safe. Not necessarily, but it definitely gets them into a stun lock. The ones that you're attacking at that very moment, usually. So it kind of does help out a little bit. Of course, I was being a little bitch myself, and I decided to go ahead and use the yellow lollipop, give myself the iframes that I wanted, and just carry on my way. Okay, not really iframes, but you know, I give myself invincibility. And I basically took no damage, got a pure platinum off that, which wasn't really technically a, you know, deserved pure platinum, but I still got it, so it's like, whatever, I'll take the money for it. That's really what matters, right? Getting the money for it. But of course, you know, at the end of the chapter, they're going to degrade me for that, and that does suck. I'm also pretty tired right now. I think it's like almost 11 o'clock at night, and it's Thursday. Fortunately for me, I have like a 4-day weekend, so this will be nice to have. Anyway, now we're going to fight these pinwheel guys, which I forgot their name. Actually, I forgot a lot of these guys' names. I'm really sorry. I started remembering most of them. I tried to, and then I just, you know, forget. Most of the ones I don't see very often. So these wheel enemies, whenever they start charging with that fire, just try your best. Just keep dodging. Just always keep your eye on these guys. Just keep dodging no matter what. Try to get that wish time off them, because these guys are a pain in the dick. For some reason, they just are harder to hit than most enemies. Of course, you can actually stop them from moving if you just shoot them. They stop moving whenever they get hit. That's the idea here. So, if you wanted to, you know, waste them, just keep hitting them. That's pretty much what you're supposed to do. Anyway, now we're going to fight more of these guys. So if you can build up enough magic, you can pretty much get like a free torture attack on one of them, if you're lucky enough. Unfortunately, up here, you can't get that triple jump I was talking about. You can't get that really high up jump attack on these guys. But if you wanted to, I'm not sure if you can or not. You can always check to see if you can go back down the stairs and maybe get more leverage there. That might actually be better. So if you were to, you know, go a little bit on the safer route, then do that. So as you see here, I actually like put myself in danger on purpose to dodge in front of the guy spinning, because it gives me at least 3 bars of magic, and I like that. 3 orbs of magic, and it definitely helps out quite a bit, especially in the long run when, you know, I'm trying to get these torture attacks on these guys, and or wicked weave attacks, which if you're scared of fighting these guys, which I completely understand, these guys are pretty scary on their own, then just go for wicked weave attacks. Just go for like the back forward attacks. That's somewhat probably the best way to get by these guys. Of course, if you have the items for it, you can always just use a yellow lollipop like I do here. And if you don't, you just be patient with these guys, because these guys are tough assholes. So, that's the end of this round of douchebags. And now I'm going to head upstairs. Again, I think that's when we have to fight the first boss of this chapter. There's like, I think 4 bosses. There are reoccurring bosses, but this is the final time we ever get to fight them too. And one of the worst bosses, in my opinion, is in this chapter too. So there's the golem, which is the orb boss that I've talked about. There's the one boss that you fight on the water. There's this guy right here that we fought multiple times, 3 or 4 times now at least. Way too many to count. But his boss fight's kind of cool, especially in this chapter, because you actually use cannons to shoot him down. Not like, you know, the last chapter we did where you actually just fucking shoot him with rockets and shit. So anyway, now before we fight him off, we have to fight enraged burning enemies. I think they're just enraged. I think that's what it is. I'm not really 100% sure. We can always just call them burning angels, but regardless, these guys are really simple, you know, enemies to take down. They're your typical, you know, fluff. So you fought these guys millions of times before. You should be fine now. There's really nothing strong about them. If you happen to have the fire claws on hand, that helps out a lot. It doesn't really matter which one's which, but I'd recommend going for the fire ones. I think they just do better, in my opinion. So that's just me. That's just me personally. I'm not really sure. I don't really, you know, keep an eye out on all that stuff. I don't care for stats or damage or anything like that. I'm just basically rambling to myself now. But it seems like, sorry about that. I'm just going off my own tangent here. Alright, anyway. This part's kind of annoying because the way the controls work is like, I don't think it's inverted. And it kind of fucks me over. But anyway, you need to shoot at his face. If he shoots those green missiles at you, there are 2 things you can do. Either you can shoot them down, or you can just dodge out like this. So basically, that's probably the safest bet, but it takes a little bit longer to kill the guy. So what you always could do is just keep blasting away, just keep mashing at his face, and eventually you'll pretty much almost stun him enough to where he'll, you know, stop trying to shoot you. He'll try to stop to... Fuck. You know what I'm trying to say. He won't try to shoot you as much anymore. So, if you can get him stunned for a bit, that definitely helps out a lot. Now, the thing is with this, is he will try to destroy the cannons, and it doesn't matter how many times you attack him with a certain cannon. Once he gets down to, I think, a certain health bar, he'll destroy one of them. So that's the whole idea here. Now, if the missiles get too close, even if they look like they're about to miss you, dodge. Just get the hell out of there. There's no reason to stay because you might get hit. The way this part works, it's so confusing with the missiles because, like I mentioned, even if you think that you are safe, for some reason it still hits you because I think the cannon itself is taking the damage for it, or at least maybe it's got an AoE to it, I don't know. But once you hop off the cannon, you're perfectly safe. It's just a weird angle, and I don't know why it does that. But just keep that in mind that even if you're on the cannon, even if you feel like you're safe, you're probably not. So just keep dodging off of it and keep jumping back on. He's not that tough. Again, if you guys are a better shot at this than I am, you can always shoot the missiles. You know, you don't have to do everything I do. So, just saying, I like to remind people, you know, it's pretty much kind of like reminding myself and putting my own mind at ease. But again, like I said, I'm really tired right now, guys. After this video, I'm done. I'm going to bed because this is just hard on me right now. I have another video I need to do, but that's for my main channel, and I just don't feel like doing it right now. It's Sonic Heroes Rail Cannon, and God forbid, if I'm tired, I'm not going to fucking do it. So I did fuck up that quick time event. Luckily, I didn't die, because I think the game gave me, like, that extra chance. Because usually, like I've mentioned in, like really older videos, or at least, you know, one of the very first chapters, I think I mentioned it, where there are times where, like, you will lose all your health, but you can still take, like, one last hit before you're, like, fully dead. It's just so strange. So now I gotta fight this asswipe once again, and he doesn't have that big of a health bar, but he's still a threat regardless. And I think he's doing his... It looks like he's doing his, like, phase 2 attacks here. I can't really tell. It's hard to say. I mean, he's still just a pain in my dickhole. He's not really using much of the fog attack, the poison stuff, or really much of anything, really. At least in this part of the phase. I think he does in his second phase, though. Once you cut off his first, like, head tentacle thing. So, yeah, just... He's just probably going to be the same way he was last time. If anything, just keep dodging these. Build up your build your magic and just get some wicked weed damage. Also, whenever if you're doing a back forward triangle or circle, try to hold it down. That way you get more damage off it. I feel like you do. I feel like the damage lasts a little bit longer, especially for the sword. I don't know. It makes it look like it hits harder, but I'm not, like, completely sure, but it feels like it does, so. Again, I pretty much kind of was getting my ass handed to me because I was being stupid and not being patient with this. But then again, like, whenever I play games like this, guys, keep in mind that I feel the pressure of it. I usually feel kind of pressured by it. You know, it's like I have to do the best I can. Even if I fuck up, it's just like, oh no, you know, I fucked up, but I still gotta keep going. I still gotta make this video. I always try to strive to make this in one go, but I have a hard time doing that. So I guess this guy doesn't actually have a second phase, so I was wrong about that. Alright, well, that proved me wrong then. Hey, at least I can admit it, you know. Some people can't. They're like, oh, I was just joking. No, I'm being dead serious. Like, I was wrong. I thought he had another phase to him. I thought so, because he had 2 health bars, so I figured he would, but nope. I guess that's just it. I guess this is all you get, so. Yeah, relatively easy. Doesn't really do too much of the really high damaging attacks, though. He doesn't do the fog, the mist attack. He doesn't do the, you know, the plant attack. And you didn't even have to, like, finish him off, like, full health bar either. Well, you do, but you don't have to finish off that head, though. I'm pretty sure once you get to this part, you still have to finish him off with damage. So, you guys done this before. I'm sure you can make this again. Not too tough. At least he's easier than we first fought him. I like that a little bit better. It makes things a little bit easier for me. Yeah, look at that. I got like 2 hits on him. He's just fucking down. I love this scene right here. This is such a badass scene. I love Bayonetta, dude. Like, she's so fucking badass. Like, her attacks are just so fucking cool. Like, her abilities are just really badass, I think. So anyway, that's the second boss down. And I think we have like 2 more to go, maybe 2 or 3 more to go. Regardless, we need to still continue on through the tower and climb up. So yeah, I didn't find anything over there. At least I don't think I know of anything. If you guys do, feel free to grab what you need. This room was the first time I actually found something different, and I actually went on my way to explore a little bit more here. So if you pay close attention, I'm going to actually find different stuff. I will actually end up fighting in another verse that's completely optional, and you also can get a red shot out of it too. So if you wanted that, that's always there for you. Also, these chests are called the Umbral Witch resting places or something like that. The Umbral Witch resting places. So if you are going for that trophy and you're wondering what the fuck it is, that's what it is. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about destroy all the chests. So as you see here, I go to the, you know, I obviously go to the shop. I'm showing this off right now. I buy a revival item, and then of course I get a second one afterward, which does save. So, meaning I still have this one, and I have another one on hand, which I actually did end up keeping until like the playthrough when I was playing on like non-stop climax. I actually got to keep it for a little bit while longer. So, That gives you any idea, I think, of like... Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe I might have been able to keep it during the final boss. I don't even know when I had to use them. Oh well, regardless. If you decide to jump down this hole, which I think is like... This is like the only hole you can really jump down into again. You are going to be greeted with a couple of joys. And... really all you need to do is just watch how they work. Just watch how I fight them now and just always pay attention and just take these guys, like, take them very slowly. Because I've noticed that they tend to be really fucking quick. And if you just watch yourself, like if you just be patient and not even like be super aggressive with them, you should be fine for the most part. At least that's what works for me. Like I feel like if you're too aggressive with these guys, they will eventually just like try to counteract you and just really fuck your stuff up because they're just too quick. That's the thing. They fight just like Bayonetta does in a way. They fight pretty much the same speed as her. So, and since we are playing on hard mode, yeah, things are a little bit harder. They made the enemies faster, so they're pretty much up to your par, up to your snuff. So you literally have to basically watch yourself. And yeah, so this one spawned another one. If you don't want them to spawn more, just try to get a hit on them. That's what I recommend. Again, these guys are not like that. They're not super tough, but they're really annoying though for sure. I definitely agree with that. One trick you could try to do is knock them in the air and try to get the attacks that way. Because it seems like whenever you get enemies in the air, excuse me, most of the time they're pretty much vulnerable to it. So you can get some pretty good damage off them with aerial combos. Sorry about the commentary this episode. My throat has been fucking up. I'm tired and just... It's the lengthy chapter. And luckily the next chapter is one of my personal favorites because you get to fight the Lumen Sage. And like I said before, I don't know why it took me so long to decide it now, but I think I decided he's at least one of my favorite bosses of Bayonetta for sure. He does return back in, like, I think Bayonetta 2, but that's you know, Bayonetta 2. We're not playing that one right now. Which I would love to get to someday, but I think before I do Bayonetta 2, I'm probably going to finish this game on Nonstop Climax. Do a guide at Nonstop Climax and just call that a day. One thing I thought of doing was going back through hard mode again, but on a different like save file or something, and then just doing a like what Bick did with Ninja Gaiden 3, an advanced strategy guide. You know, because there were some things that he didn't really cover very well that he thought of, or he just forgot to mention, and there were things I could have done so much better in my Bayonetta guide, a lot better than what I could have done. You know, and I'm sure I want to provide you guys the best quality guide that I possibly can, to the best of my efforts. I'm not the best at these games. I'll never say that. I will say, though, I'm good at them. I can say that with pride. I'm really good at these games. But I'm not a professional by any means. So, if you ever needed complete and total professional help, then you're going to have to go look on somewhere else. Because I don't have that kind of content here. I'm sorry. That's just the way my channel works. So, anyway, grab that chest there. And there is one in the middle that you can go grab. You can pretty much make it over here with the Panther and or just, you know, taking your jumps kind of a little bit easier. But if you have the Crow Within, it should make things a little bit more safer for you. The Crow Within actually does end up saving my ass like a couple times. And there actually are chests in the game that you need the Crow Within to go get. There's actually areas where the king ships spawn at. Those flying ships where they spawn at. Sometimes there's actually like platforms out in the distance I've never seen before. Until I started watching a collectible guide of it. I was like, holy shit. You know, it's stuff I've never seen. So, I don't remember how I seen that. I think I seen that from a distance. I was like, wait a minute, that's not right. I don't even know why they're here. Well, to be fair, the Umbral, the birds themselves, all they give you is Umbran Tears, and there's nothing that you really get out of it, I don't think. I have no idea. There's so many, like, Umbral Tears you have to get, and there's no trophy for it either, so you don't have to get all of them at all. You just have to get all the chests and different stuff. So anyway, now we're going to fight Golem once again. And the safest one to bait out, of course, again, like I said before, would definitely be baiting out the Phantom. Or the Spider in this case. So, to me, he's the safest one to do, but you don't have to. Now, one thing I knew about when I was playing this, and I mentioned in a previous video, and I was just being stupid when I was playing this. If you attack the outer shell, then you can pretty much get the enemy, the golem, into a stun, letting you get a nice, decent combo on it. And I recommend doing that instead of what I'm doing here. So pretty much just do witch time, get the dodges on them, dodge out of there, and then do a Wicked Weave attack on the outer shell. It's going to come in handy, especially in non-stop climax mode. And once I beat that, it shouldn't be too tough. Speaking of non-stop climax, it's so funny because I was watching Bick a while back, seeing what he did when he played Bayonetta, you know, see if he used items and all that other stuff, see if I was up to snuff with, you know, the man I idolize, you know, when I first started off this channel. Not anymore, really, but, you know, that's somewhat. He's still a respectable guy in his own sense, but I don't know. I don't watch most of his content much anymore. But anyway, I was watching his Bayonetta playthrough, and what was I gonna say? Fuck. Oh, he was talking about he doesn't want to do non-stop climax mode. Like he said, like he'll never do it. And then I took it on myself, like, God, it's gonna be so tough. It's gonna be hard, you know. No witch time, no nothing. But no, actually, it's not really that hard, honestly. It's just Bayonetta without witch time. That's all it is. You know, it literally is that. I think it's probably got harder enemies, or at least a harder difficulty. I'm not sure. Like, I think they send out different enemies and stuff. But for the most part, it wasn't really super hard. I mean, item spammed the shit out of it to a point. You know, I always tried my best, but most of the time I had to use items. And I did decently well. I beat it, so that's a good sign. If I can beat these games, guys, you can beat them. I say it all the time, but I mean it. I am not the best gamer out there. I'm a decent one for sure. I will say I'm pretty good. I'm probably at least above average in terms of, like, you know, the hack and slash community at least, or, you know, playing with the hard mode guys for sure. Fighting games, not so much. I'd probably like average or something, maybe less. Regardless, we should be talking about the game, shouldn't we? So this boss fight's kind of cool and kind of annoying at the same time because you are pressured for time. Although you don't really have to worry about that too much, especially, like, it sounds like, or at least it seems like you are straining for time here. Like, you got something, you know, the whole building's exploding in the background behind you, but you have plenty of time to hit this guy. Like, even in non-stop climax mode, it's retarded easy how stupid this guy is. If you can time those paw attacks that he does, or she, whatever it is, if you can just, you know, pay attention to, like, what attacks that could give you which time, you're freaking golden here. This part is so easy. Like, this is the easiest of the bosses you have to take down. I mean, the golem's pretty easy himself, too. But I think this one's a lot easier. And, of course, you don't even have to do a climax with it. He just fucking just drops dead, and that's it. So that's the end of that boss. And that's practically the end of the chapter. Because all we have to do now is just run away from the building, exploding, and then we're pretty much out. If you just keep moving up, you're pretty much good. And then you'll drop down to one of these holes. So you just jump up here, and then you'll break through, and that's... Well, okay, that's not it yet. Yeah, we still have to break this stuff real fast, so I'm getting way too ahead of myself. I'm like, yes, we're pretty much almost done with this shit. I actually forget what this stuff was, though, honestly. I don't remember what these were, or what this was for. Anyway, regardless, that should be the end of, what is this, chapter 15? Yeah, chapter 15, a tower to the... Oh, goddamn, we're still doing more? Oh, yeah, because, like, once we get inside that little area there, then that's when it's pretty much done. So, from here on out, it's smooth sailing. And then from this episode on, we have 2 more bosses to go, 2 more chapters to finish, and then we are done with Bayonetta, folks. We're almost done with the Bayonetta hard mode guide. So, I just want to say now, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time when we take on chapter 16 next on Bayonetta on hard difficulty. And as always, take care, everybody.